For our first show of 2019 today, and our guests are Ron Pagnini and Tony Pinto from the Downtown Redevelopment Committee.
Welcome.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you. Great.
And you want to tell us about your downtown facade program that's getting kicked, just kicked off and is, I hear, growing great guns?
It is, yeah.
12 applications so far or
Yeah.
higher?
There's about 12 right now.
Okay.
And,
Well, we don't know much about it.
So
Can
tell
you
us all about it.
what
What's
it's
it
all
all about?
Okay, well, it goes back about a year and a half ago. Driving through downtown, I noticed there was a lot of rundown properties. And I brought that to the selectmen. And they were willing to let us form a committee, and we formed the Downtown Revitalization Committee with Tony Pinto was on it. I'm the chairman. We have Laura Mann, Paul Malnati, Josh Leoch, and Peter Moynihan makes up our committee, and it's a very proactive committee. We've been really trying to revitalize and come up with ideas for downtown. One of the first things we wanted to do is to try to tackle the properties that are run down in downtown. And we also created a downtown district, we call it, where it's a specific mapped out area, basically from the Sacred Heart Church, just past Water Street, and mainly on Main Street, but also down Central Street and Exchange Street, part of Spruce Street, and in front of where Memorial Hall is. And that creates our downtown district. Why, if you drive through Franklin, Hopkinton, you drive through Milford, Milford tends to have quite a few buildings that are that need TLC. About 20 years ago, we had a facade program.
That was through a community development block grant.
It was.
I remember you got nice awnings, you got new signs, it looked really nice.
Yeah, it was
And
Through Sue Clark.
yes.
right,
Right.
but that was 20 years ago, and
20 years ago, and since then, nothing's been done. And part of that, it does fall on the fact that Milford has a dual tax rate. And it creates a little bit of a burden on small property owners. And for that reason, there's very little money to be left over after you pay all your expenses, your mortgage.
and let's not forget, most of the upper floors of those buildings are vacant.
Yeah, the second floors are very hard to rent, and parking is a big issue for all downtowns. So for all those reasons, the buildings every year get worse and worse and worse. And I know maybe the 15 buildings that were done 20 years ago, and really none of them have been touched since. And I understand why. It's not easy.
Well, yeah, you're a property owner downtown.
I am, yeah. And
You're a realtor, you know what it's
Yes,
like.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you look around, those signs that were put together back then are still there. They're just decaying and
A
falling.
little
Everything.
decayed, or the business is gone, but the awning still says the old
Right,
business.
and the same sign.
There's one glaring
right.
building that has the names up of businesses that are like 5 businesses
Yeah,
ago
there's a sign
in
on a
those
sign,
stores.
on a sign.
Yeah,
So it's a little hodgepodge, and it was brought to my attention by a couple realtors. I have my little office downtown, and that's what got me to go out and take a walk. And I walked the beat, and sure enough, I see what they saw, and so I brought it to the selectmen, and they've been very proactive, supporting us. And they were willing to go to bat to try to come up with some private money at the time to help with a program like we did 20 years ago. It was a 75-25% split, where the landlord would have to come up with 25%. And in their eyes, it was a way to help with the burden of the dual tax, the tax rate. And the finance committee overall has been very supportive in what we've been doing, and the townspeople. But since then, we were able, through our representatives, Ryan Fatman, Brian Murray, they went to bat for us, and they were able to get $150,000
Oh, wow.
for,
And a
for
grant.
this facade program. Not so much a grant, but it was just extra, came from a certain fund.
Yeah.
And so, okay, that was the great thing to happen. So now we have to put everything, the whole program, we have to lay it all down, and that's what we've been working on. And we finally got to a point where we're getting ready to do the first property.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And
But I heard the other day at the selectmen's meeting, you had at least 12 people that have taken out applications to
Yeah,
do
there's
this?
12 applications out, but they're being vetted now.
And you also have
and
to make sure they
completed.
supplied all the info and,
Right.
yeah, and actually
Great.
there's an actual selection committee, which Tony is part of.
Right.
Tony, Laura Mann, and Josh Leoch are on the selection committee. So we went out and knocked on a lot of doors. I called a lot of the landlords, people I could think of, especially the buildings that really needed a TLC. I got a hold of those people all over the last year and told them that we'd like them to be part of it. And so far, they've, they're willing to do it. They've filled out the applications. We got them in, but there's more work that has to be done. They have to be filled out 100%, and they have to also get up to code with their window displays, and there's a series of things that have to
Right.
that have to happen first. So we're working on that now because we don't want to lose these people that said yes.
and
I'd
you
like
also
to
have
do
to
it.
spend that 150 by June 30th.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we do
there's a
have
time limit
Wow.
on this money too, so it's gonna be a real hustle. And Rick, our town administrator, Rick Villani, has been right on it, and Charles Bodie, the town council, they've been working hard, coming up with the program, along with our committee.
Oh, that's great.
So
Is it still a split of money? I mean,
Yeah,
how much is the building owner putting up?
yeah, the building owner has to put up 25%, and 75% will be,
Oh, wow, that's
75%
short
company.
money.
it's a
That's
a no-brainer,
it's-
really.
For a
Yeah.
businessman, that's a no-brainer,
Yeah,
you're
it's a
right.
no-brainer.
That's a lot of
So-
paperwork.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
paperwork, and it's a commitment. They still have to come up with the money, and believe it or not, that's a little bit of a hardship right now with some of them. So, but we're working on it, and hopefully they'll make the commitment.
Yep.
And so that's a big part of first step of what we want to do downtown is to get it looking better. Now it's going to be a little, as businesses go out of business, we can attract other businesses that are
Well,
successful.
I hear Rockland Bank is thinking of closing, what to me is still the Home National
Yeah,
presence on Main
right.
Street.
That's how we all
That
know it.
now that they bought, whatever they
Milford
bought.
National.
Well, now they bought Milford National.
Yes.
They were using that they're thinking of putting that out for rent and closing it.
Right.
No, they will be closing it, I believe it's the
oh, you're talking about the one right across, right
one downtown.
downtown?
from
Yeah,
Johnny
that's,
Jack's.
they're closing.
So
That's closed.
that leaves a big hole in Main Street.
Yep.
So I'm hoping
There've
this
been a lot
program
of
can,
activity on that building for new people coming in.
be a great
that
place
would,
for a
yeah.
brew pub.
Yeah, so, yeah, our goal is, that's one of the first properties that come up.
Are
to
you
be
with, are you
available.
outside the
It's coming up
500 foot? Are you outside the 500 foot
From,
A church?
from a church?
Close,
yeah, that's a good question.
Possibly,
That's a good question.
close. You
Because
got-
if you're,
Yeah,
if you're
there's
not, you
You got the
can't.
Congregational Church, you got the ones on
Congregational
Exchange
Church.
Street.
It's got to be more than 500
I
feet
think
away.
it is.
It's
yeah.
too bad that Craft Roots has already spent all their money down on Industrial
Yeah,
Road.
they would have, that would
That would have
have
been a great place for
I
them.
know. But you know what, so we're going to try to attract some kind of restaurant that would be great for downtown, a brewery, something like that would be great for that building. And we've been talking to a couple people, so keep our fingers crossed, something may happen there.
good.
Yeah, it's
But-
a
but
perfect spot for it.
Tony, from a realtor's perspective, just having it spruced up, that would tend to attract more people.
Yes, and give someone a better feeling on wanting to be in Milford. And
Right.
Like Ronnie said earlier, you drive through Holliston, Hopkinton, or any of these towns around us, they have a better presence than we do. They have conformity and signage. It'd be nice for us to have the same thing. It's a little honky-tonk now with sign on top of sign.
Well, Hudson did that not too long ago.
Yeah.
And it really was very successful. They really came through on it. So, if you guys do the same thing, it'll be, I think it'll have a great impact on downtown.
Even just driving through downtown Franklin, once or twice a month, I mean, it looks,
Franklin's beautiful, it really is. You see,
not everything looks the same, but it looks nice.
it looks nice, yeah.
You
Right,
know,
that's the key.
As you said, not honky-tonk. And-
Yeah.
and
Right.
candidly, we have some places downtown where there's, the entire window is covered with, you know, signage in different multicolors and
Yeah,
this and that. And
becomes a little hodgepodge, and
yeah,
so we want-
hodgepodge is a good word.
So we want to really try to clean that all up, and to be part of the program, the facade program, you have to do that.
Oh, that's
Because
good.
there are strict bylaws that the town is trying to, enforce now.
Okay, so are there going to be any additional bylaw changes relative
Yeah.
to this?
Well, actually, they're already there, pretty strict bylaws that are written, but we actually have to go the other way, just by one reason or another. It was, we want to have the hanging projecting signs.
Yeah, the planning
they-
board brought that up last week, that they're going to start looking at allowing them.
Yeah, we want to bring that back.
That's a zoning
It was-
change to
It
allow
was
that.
taken out, and it's in our guidelines. We've come up with guidelines
Yeah.
that have to be followed for this facade program. So part of the guidelines are these vintage signs, wooden signs that hang off a wrought iron type of
Oh, okay.
hanger. They're no longer,
Well, your architect did that on his building. Who's
yes,
that,
he did.
Henry
yeah.
Arnaud?
So we want to bring that's the look that we're looking for eventually over time, but we at least want it to be allowed. Right now, it's not allowed at all. And
So there will be a bylaw.
yeah, we're going to correct that. Well,
The
the town
planning
is
board
working
has
on it.
agreed to look at it.
Yeah, yes, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. But we got support on that to bring that back.
Right.
Because that's important to the look that we're looking for and what we're trying to do. And,
Well, if you look at his building, which is the old No Free Law Office,
oh, yeah,
the sign just fits that building the way it is now.
no, it's beautiful. He did a great
It
job.
actually is a lot better looking than the law office sign was.
Yeah, no, it's vintage to that building.
Yeah.
It really is. It's
It's high, it's small, but
Yeah,
you read who it is, it's nice
classy.
and clean.
it's classy, and it's that vintage, and it goes to the period of that structure. And he did a great job. That's Henry Arnaud, and he's actually,
And he's also fighting to get that bylaw changed, because
yes, yeah, absolutely.
his sign is
Violation.
technically illegal right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So, so common sense will bring it back.
I
And,
know.
and everybody's supporting that too. So I don't think there's going to be an issue. We just have to go in front of the town meeting and follow the channels.
Follow the rules.
Follow
Well,
the
you
rules.
also got a nice building like his to showcase what you're trying to do. It's a
Yes.
lot easier, I think, when you have something people can look at than get them thinking in their head, oh, it could be that, it could be this.
Yeah.
Now you have a building you can point to and say, take a look at that, that's what we're trying to allow.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a nice picture of that to show.
But it will have a dramatic impact on downtown. Absolutely, I believe that to be the case.
Yeah, I think so too. I think a more uniform look and people following the same guidelines and then follow through with, governing it, which will happen as people start doing their facades over, take the things out of the window that they're supposed to on I don't know if it's a monthly basis, but we'll be making sure that people stay
So you'll be the
in code.
facade police.
We won't be, but no, we don't want to be that, but I think the town already has that, actually.
No, but just the sheer fact that the town is willing to invest in it goes a long way to people who are interested in moving in, because now realtors can say, "Phew," the town is engaged with this program by 75%,
Yeah,
which
well,
is a significant commitment.
I was gonna say, let's not forget also, the town meeting approved money for you to have an architect consultant and hire a grant writer to look
and
for
the grant
even
writer.
more grants, so
And that's.
the town did put up money.
Yeah, the town has been very supportive. For 18 to 20 years, there's really been nothing done downtown. It's
Well,
been,
nobody championed it. I think when you guys came forward,
yeah,
the selectmen said to you, all right, form a committee and do it.
Yeah.
And to your credit, you're all volunteers, you're doing it.
yeah, we're doing it. We're putting a lot of time
know,
into it, and we're
And I
we're
think
committed.
what they gave you is town hall staff to back up what you're doing.
Yes,
To
exactly.
say, these people are gonna help you.
Yep. And
I used to argue with selectmen, none of you are serious about downtown because nobody's in charge of it.
Right.
And then you guys came forward.
Yeah.
So hats off to you and your committee,
Yep.
to you, Tony, to you, Ronnie, the rest of the committee.
Very
Yeah.
supportive, though. They've
Yeah,
been
no,
very
no,
supportive.
that's
Well,
true.
you also have, I think, 3 people on the board who would really like to see a nice, healthy downtown.
Absolutely. Yep. they're
Well,
very
it's changed
supportive.
over the past 20 years. The last 20 years, the downtown has changed dramatically. And so it's time to revitalize that and move it and change it and get it moving forward.
Yeah.
It hasn't moved it's moving in a negative direction.
Yeah.
And
know,
I think when people see, hopefully sometime in 2019, they'll get started on the middle school east renovation.
Yeah.
I know that's a huge thing. I know they got their asbestos remediation plan was just done.
Okay,
So I
that's
think they
good. I
can
didn't
begin
realize that.
to carry that out.
Yeah.
But I think when people see that building getting renovated,
Yeah.
you know, in one end of Main Street,
Yeah,
they'll see, hey, it's going to look a lot better.
things are starting to happen.
Because that end, you have the dental building,
Which
Yep,
is
you-
really nice.
then you have the architect's
Architect's
building,
building,
then
then
you're going to
this
have
building.
Middle East,
Yeah,
and you may not like it, but at least you have the convenience store, at least, you know, has a new owner and didn't stay vacant forever
yeah,
and looks that way. So at least that whole side is looking good.
yep, absolutely. So,
Then you just do other parts.
yeah, one building at a time.
Well, I mean, it says a great deal for the community too, that they're reinvesting in the town, reinvesting in
Yes.
downtown.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. A lot of towns, communities aren't doing that. But now that's beginning to change. A lot of communities are talking about
it is
We're in
changing.
Upton, we're doing the same thing. They're
I
beginning to
just,
talk.
just heard that on the radio today.
Yeah.
You're starting to form a committee.
Well, there's a meeting tonight, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Well, every town is, because if you don't have a healthy downtown, I mean, I remember the days, not that long ago, when 8 o'clock at night, Main Street would be thronged with people till maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night, on the weekends till midnight. Today, it's a ghost town after, you know, it gets dark.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be.
No, it
It
shouldn't
should be a really healthy, thriving downtown.
Yeah, we're trying to, you know, bring back living, being entertained, shopping,
Well,
eating
the Brazilian
in the
Bakery
downtown.
just got permission to open till midnight every night.
That's great. No, that's awesome.
So that's
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
to know that instead of closing at whatever it was, 6, 8, whatever it was,
Yeah.
you know, I get a hankering for some nice pastry, I know where to go, you know, 11 o'clock at night.
No, they do a nice business. A lot of people, you see a lot of people going in and out, and that's awesome. And
Best cheese rolls around.
to try them. You ever try them, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're trying to, you know, we came up with an annual report of things
Oh,
that we've
good.
accomplished, things that we want to do, and things that we're working on. And so we do want to, you know,
So
we have
this,
a series
let's-
of things that we want to
so
do.
the facade thing, let's assume for a second the facade program gets squared away and everybody does their thing and it's all nice. And what's the next, what's number
Okay.
2?
Sort of working behind the scenes at the same time. We're looking to, hopefully, we're waiting this week to find out if we get a grant that we applied for about a month ago to help study on the zoning and living downtown. So that came from it was the Downtown Massachusetts initiative.
I don't think people realize, when they talk about bringing residents downtown, I don't think they realize, I hear all the negatives of what they think will happen.
I know.
I don't think they realize the costs of converting those buildings will make an entirely different level of tenant.
Yeah, nobody's going to invest money in that to have, you know, a low-cost, low-rent place. I mean, I'm not, if you're,
It's not going to happen.
it's just,
Just the
why would
cost
I
of
invest
elevators in
money?
those buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think what happens, it would move it more towards, and I use Mashpee as an example, kind of downtown where people
Westboro is a great example.
live upstairs
Yeah.
and they come downstairs and they go to a restaurant, they go a little shopping. It becomes more of a community.
It all works
Well,
together.
Westboro is a
So-
great example of people, every one of those downtown buildings has occupied apartments on the top floor,
Yeah,
all by professional people.
yeah,
I mean, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I'm looking at getting out of a house in about 5 years
sure.
and looking for a place to live.
Yeah.
And I would love to live in a thriving downtown area.
Where you can just walk someplace.
Walk somewhere.
It's all coming back to the downtowns.
Right.
In the 70s, it went out to the malls.
Well, you know, I'm a 50s
now
kid. I
it's
remember
coming
you
back.
walked everywhere,
Yeah.
and there was a mom and pop bread milk store in every corner
Yeah.
before they got zoned out of existence.
Well, one of the
Yeah.
things that will,
And you'd go there every night, or you'd go to a local cafe.
one of the things that'll move it forward, which brings another element to it, is that now you have bus
Yeah.
service, which will add to the access to the downtown.
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of things are coming together all at one
They are
time.
coming together. You know, we have a great, the hospital is one of the biggest employers of the town, if not the biggest. We've got Consigli Construction. They're walkable from downtown. So picture a few high-rises, 4 or 5-story, on the finger streets right off of Main Street,
Bingo.
and professionals or everyday workers that work at the hospital, living right there, with no need for a car, or less need to have 2 cars.
Well-
They can have 1. So,
As a father of 3 millennials,
yeah,
this is what they're all aiming for, was
Yeah.
walk, you know, if you do drive to work, a short commute, or it's nearby,
Yeah.
but everything they want in the neighborhood.
Right.
And I mean, the idea of being able to walk at lunchtime, let's say you get, Consigli built that nice addition,
Yeah.
all filled with, good paying jobs. Have them walk uptown, if you get something in that bank building, a nice restaurant, walk uptown and have lunch, walk back to work.
Yeah.
Well, there's two bank buildings there.
Yeah, the other one, Tony's familiar
The other
with.
one,
I thought a dentist bought that one.
yes, and he's going to be putting a dental practice in
Oh,
there.
great. That's great.
Yeah, because he's got permission to build a second floor already, if he needs one.
If he needs one. I don't think he's going, the cost, after reviewing the cost of it, I think he's giving it second thoughts.
Yeah,
It's a great facility for a dental facility, dental place.
It's a nice building.
It's
a
got
nice
nice
buil-
exposure
Right.
across
Parking in
from
the
the
back, too.
post office,
Right.
right next to the police station.
So if somebody gets a little wacky, they can just call the police if they want.
the park's getting prettied up, we've got a committee, looking at the war memorials, is gonna pretty up Draper Park.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Downtown at Calzone Park,
Yeah.
there's less attraction to bring people in, but
Yeah.
Draper Memorial Park is so beautiful. That's going to get refreshed after 20, 25 years of
Yeah,
that monument.
that's-
It's hard to believe it's been that
There's a
long.
committee that formed
Right.
to look at that, and then the Calzone Park where the Doughboy is.
Right, so it seems like there's a bunch of efforts going together.
There is,
And let's not forget, you got 2 buildings knocked down on Central with a
Right.
third to go in a year or two
so that's the other part of
for
this.
possible
is-
parking expansion.
Yeah, parking is key, convenient parking. The more convenient parking you can have will help. Milford most downtowns are hurting on parking.
Yes.
So, that was an opportunity to, in the center of downtown, to create more parking, and hopefully, I think they already engineered about 48. When the third building comes down, it's being used for another year. When that comes down, there'll be 48 extra parking spots right in the center of downtown.
Now, has anybody thought about a parking building, that-
Yeah.
There's
Sure.
pros and cons
Just
on
the
those.
Yeah.
cost.
It's the cost.
Well, I
it is,
understand that.
But here's the thing, when I went to that summit for the downtown, all the downtowns of Massachusetts, and it was November 1st in Lowell, and October 1st, and the big thing I came away from that whole summit was the state is really trying to revitalize downtowns, and they're coming up with a lot of incentives and money for grants, and that's partly why I went in front of the board to try to get a grant writer, which they were all for, and the town was too. And he's already working on a major grant over the next year. We've got the state people coming in the beginning of February to walk the beat and to see what we're talking about.
Oh, wow, that's great.
So it's parking, garage is in the realm of getting grants for, just fixing the parking lots, the municipal parking lots, dressing them up, better lighting, buying another building possibly if it makes sense, if it creates enough parking, and taking that down is what they have money for. And they really are looking into any developers that want to develop in the downtown area. There's a lot of grant money available for that.
Really?
But it
Oh,
does
yeah.
play into, obviously, the demographics for Milford really work out well for
Grants.
future grants.
Well, the other piece, the other thing, Grant is financially in such a good shape that the state people won't see as big a risk.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah, that must play into it.
Yeah,
I'm
Well,
not
I mean,
sure.
the
I'm not-
difference between
Yeah.
Mendon where I live or Upton where Al lives,
Yeah.
trying to get a state grant versus Milford financially. I mean, you guys can just reach in the bank account and take out the town share.
Yeah.
If really push came to shove,
I guess I don't know how much that plays into, because they are.
Significant.
significantly.
It's a significant,
Okay, I see.
significant piece of the puzzle.
I see, okay, that's good.
No, it really is. I mean, I don't think people in Milford understand how well financially the town is compared to other towns. They keep hearing it, but I don't know if they've experienced it when you go to another town
No, it's true.
and
We're
watch towns
financially in
struggle to
great
come
shape.
up with matching money for a grant.
Yeah.
And for you guys, if the grant makes sense, you can pull it out of the bank.
Well, that's because a lot of, the town has always been very conservative, very frugal, and that pays off over the long haul.
You got a very good finance committee and town
Yeah,
officials
absolutely.
who look at this and say, let's not forget, all this is happening while they're still handing back $3 million a year in not taxing people,
Yeah, true.
where every other town is taxing up to the, the maximum amount they can. for the last 4, 5, 6 years, and that's now baked into the budget process,
It is, yeah.
that they're not going to tax people that extra $3 million at the end.
And you
It
have-
gives
you know-
people a little bit of benefit.
Well, the other thing is too, you have very qualified people in the committees, in FinCom and other places.
Yes.
So,
And you guys are an example of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're a realtor, you're a downtown property owner. Josh Leoch, downtown property owner and realtor. Laura Mann, an attorney. I'm not sure everybody else in the committee, but
Yeah, Paul Malnati oversees real estate in Boston.
okay,
Yeah.
so,
Transnational Corp.
so
you've
what
got
you-
qualified people,
Yes,
and your heart's in it.
yes.
I mean, you're not doing this because
it's
somebody
just-
drafted you. You came up with this.
No,
and
we're committed, and we just want to try
That's
to
good.
do good for the town.
and it's a
That's all it comes
positive
down
thing.
to.
You don't have a lot of, you're not fighting a lot of battles, I would guess.
No, because it's all good,
Yeah, it's
really,
all
if you really
good.
think about it, it's,
Well, I think if people see the sign improvements,
That'll
asking
make a
for
difference.
something after that makes it easier because they see you've accomplished something.
yeah, as they see progress.
Right.
It starts to mushroom.
Absolutely.
Support and all that, yeah.
Well, people look at it and that makes a difference. If it looks nice, then they say,
Yeah.
well, maybe it's worth investing some more money in it,
Yep.
doing some things.
Okay.
And I think once you guys get living on the second and third, I think that'll make a significant difference in the life.
Yes, yeah, you have
in
to have
downtown.
more, you have to get more people living downtown
Downtown.
to support the businesses we want to try to bring in.
Right, and that's critical.
Yeah. And we need to,
Yeah.
over time, change the mix of what's downtown.
Right.
It's hard to right now, because all the storefronts are actually, there's no vacancies, very few on the main level.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah,
There's
so it's
there are a
That's
lot
why
of
that
churches downtown.
Well,
There
that's why
is.
that bank opening up is going to be key because
Yeah, that's key.
it's the
That's-
first time in a long time a sizable building is opening up.
Yes.
Right.
So
I was
we-
going to ask you, Tony, you deal a lot with commercial real estate. I mean, you think it's very viable to get that re-rented?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a nice structure, and the best positive aspect about building is it's got parking.
Yeah,
It's got
Behind it,
tremendous
in front of it.
parking. And I could see a lot of nice uses for that building and that are in the process already.
great.
I
That's
mean,
great.
retail would be good. Frankly, I'd like to see, a nice restaurant or something in there,
Yeah,
but
Restaurant would be,
Yeah,
I
I
think,
think a restaurant would be a
yeah, key.
something else to keep drawing people. I mean, right now, you got Johnny Jack's and you've got the Brazilian Bakery on that end, and
Yeah.
then you've got some, 89 down the
89.
other end and some things, but you need one or two more to draw
Yeah,
people in.
we need the more the better, you
Right.
get a.
I think you get people walking
you
down
give
the
them
street.
choices.
Right,
You get people walking down the street, then a commercial business will do better.
absolutely.
Once you get them downtown, hey, while we're here, to me, I trace downtown's demise to when the State Theater got torn down, because that brought everybody downtown. And then when that was torn down,
Yeah.
it was one less reason to come.
We'd love to
And I
have
know
it
that-
now. We'd love to
I
have
know
it
the
now.
shopping
Yeah.
changed and people went to malls and
Yeah.
strip things.
But that'll
But
change.
personally, that brought people downtown consistently.
The malls
Yeah,
are
that's
changing.
true.
The malls are changing because of the
They're going-
internet.
Yeah, right.
Right,
The
so-
brick and mortar stores
Right,
are
or-
going by the
Right,
wayside.
so the smaller places,
Yeah.
the real specific places where you go pick up something, boutique stuff, that's
Driving.
niche, right, that's niching.
Well, believe it or not, I hear a little beep in the background, and you guys thought this would be tough to fill a half hour.
Wow.
We got about a minute
fast.
left, so what do you want to tell people about the program that if they, how about if I want to apply, where do I go?
Okay, you can go right online, the Milford Town
Town
website.
Okay,
You can apply right online, and you have to do it pretty quick because there's only so much money, and hopefully we'll get another round of money, but right now, the quicker you can get on there and get everything in that it asks for, and then it'll go right to the committee, and they'll make us a selection.
Good.